The title of this video is May 17 Sun Conjunction Algol Jupiter. So as it is now, there is a very significant conjunction happening that I think everybody should know about, because this is really probably the best transit of the whole year, but it could also be one of the most significant changes or shifts in some people, because Jupiter is about expansion, luck, growth, you all know that. And the Sun is about the self. But this is happening in Taurus. So the divine feminine, in regards to our body, our self-esteem, our worth, our security, our material wealth, our finances, the basic foundations for survival, that's what's really being addressed with this transit. It's not just about what you do in life, whether you have fun, whether you work, whether you have a relationship, a family. No, it's about the most fundamental aspects of the self. Whether it's your money or what makes you just feel good about yourself. Because I've been making many videos recently that were highlighting how to fix avoidant attachment style or self-esteem issues if you are insecure in your relationships. And Algol is about those insecurities, those wounds, that shame that is triggered because the feminine is being put into a box, pushed down, suppressed, and this whole control system, it's always worked for thousands of years to make the bully the good guy, and to make the one pointing out the bully, pointing out the problem, the bad person. So in Algol, we have the complex of persecution, where you are doing something right, you're doing something good, but you're being attacked for it. Like you're doing something healthy, you're making the right choices in your life, you're addressing the elephant in the room. You're saying, I'm being oppressed, I'm not getting what I deserve. So instead of sucking up to somebody else, trying to conform to everybody to keep the peace, which is rotting, you resist. This resistance is the rise of the feminine. And this is really in conjunction with the masculine, the Sun and Jupiter, in 27 degrees of Algol right now. So you'll probably never have this conjunction ever again. Maybe there's a small chance that it could happen again in 12 years. I haven't really checked out those transits yet. But this is an exact conjunction on Algol, within less than 1 degree orbit. I don't think this is ever going to happen again. So this is not just like your regular, usual transits. This is a big transit. And what does it signify is that we've been oppressed. We've had to play it small. We've had to just accept our scarcity, our lack, what is not working for us, not getting our needs met, not getting what we want. We've just accepted the situation because we're used to it, right? We're used to working in jobs that we hate, being with partners that don't fulfill our needs. When you accept not having what you need, you are sick. And this sickness is one of the most common sicknesses of humanity. And this is exactly what Algol is addressing here. And I actually had 2 clients today with relationship chart readings. And I was looking at those charts and I was like, honey, that man of yours is 1 red flag, 2 red flags, 3 red flags, 4 red flags. And you're telling me you want to marry this guy? You want to have a commitment with him? You're planning your future? When the chart is a complete shit show. And the chart is just an avoidant. And he's going to neglect you when things get uncomfortable. He's going to avoid you. And then he's going to blame you when you say, It's not enough. I need more. I deserve more. And the desire for abundance, the demand to fulfill your most basic needs. We're talking really in Taurus about the bare minimum. The bare basics for survival in relationship. You're not getting that. And your partner says, you're being needy. You're being clingy. You think you're better than me? You think I should give you all of that? Get away from me. Take care of yourself. Regulate your own emotions. This is how the divine feminine is put into a box. When the masculine abandons her. And we've been abandoning ourselves for so long. We're so used to it. We keep attracting those emotions in the unavailable partners, like as a collective, of course not me, but people in general do that. So they are accepting less than the minimum. They're expecting being devalued, feeling unimportant, insignificant. Because that's what the sun is about, isn't it? That conjunction, your significance. To be in the spotlight, to feel that you are loved. And if you are always putting up with people where you don't feel loved, sometimes I do, sometimes he gives me all of that, he showers me and then he disappears. But at least sometimes I'm getting it right. At least I get something. That scarcity consciousness. That breadcrumbing, that I take the scraps because I'm just trying to survive. And what do you do when everybody around you has always mistreated you? When you've been neglected all the time, you're just like, I just need to suck it up, right? It's my fault, isn't it? I mean, everybody's neglecting me. Everybody's neglecting everybody, so it must be my fault. It means I have low value. It means I don't really matter enough to demand anything. So I will settle for the scraps. And I will work my hated job in which I'm depressed all the time. I can't stand it. I can't stand the people around me. But I will stay in that situation because why should I ask for more? I mean, this is just what I deserve. This is really the wound of a feminine, but this is unconscious. We're not even aware what we believe about ourselves when we allow ourselves to be neglected, to be abandoned. And that Algol, that Lilith principle, is about the fear that if you do what you want and you say, hey, actually, I need a little bit more from you, you become the villain. You become the bad person. Because the Lilith Algol is about the knowledge of good and evil. It's the snake in the Garden of Eden. It's the one who teaches you to listen to yourself, to use your own discernment. To be an individual is to be divided. Divided because if you are always looking for other people, if you're always trying to consent to their reality, you're conforming. You're conforming to the hive mind, which is like a Borg cube. You will be assimilated. Resistance is futile. I mean, if there's anything that's screaming Algol, it's certainly that. So this is what we call Lilith programming. When Lilith, the divine feminine that stands up to the abuser, is put in a box and she's perverted, she's beaten down, she's vilified, demonized, and she's twisted. So she becomes Eve, which is just a shadow of her former self, like Echo with Narcissus. She's just echoing whatever Narcissus wants from her. She's just mirroring her abuser. If my abuser doesn't value me, if my abuser doesn't want to see me, I will be invisible. So I can stay. If my abuser tells me I'm a bad person, I will stop being a bad person and I will be no person. I will be nobody. So my abuser accepts me. The trauma bond, the imprisonment of the divine feminine. It is in so many mythologies, in so many relationships, in so many dynamics. You know, there's so much about narcissism that helps us to understand why are people acting evil. Why do they try to control you? Why do they try to manipulate you? Because they feel powerless. Being themselves. Being themselves means they won't get anywhere. They won't succeed. But being not themselves, being false, conforming to the hive mind, always doing what other people want them to do, that's going to lead to success. And this pathology, that is at the bottom of humanity's main feminine wound. But the feminine only gets us into trouble. Our needs, our emotions, what we deserve, no. Don't talk about that. It's only going to cause abandonment. It's only going to trigger rejection. So this is why the moment you tell an avoidant what you need from them, they disappear. They abandon you, they ghost you, they reject you. So to avoid rejection, you will give them what they want. You will give them the space. You will pamper them. You will wipe their butt with rainbow-colored toilet paper. So they get the extra Wurst, the extra sausage, we say in German. So they can wipe their shit, so to speak, because they need to be pampered in order to regulate their emotions. Because your emotions, who cares about your emotions? You take care of the bully. You get the tyrant's needs met because you're nobody. You're just a slave. You're Eve. You're a shadow. You're Echo. Just barely visible. Invisible. The dark side of the moon. Why is it dark? Why is it taboo? Why do we have to hide? We hide because being yourself doesn't get you beneficial outcomes. The abuser isn't going to fulfill your needs when you are yourself. So, if you're not yourself, he will fulfill your needs. That is the belief, which of course is not going to happen ever. But it's a program. So it's the delusional disorder. And what keeps the disorder going? Why are people putting up with abuse and neglect? Why are they accepting mistreatment? Because of shame. Because there's the belief, it's my fault. It's what I deserve. So it's a self-esteem issue. That is what Taurus is about, self-esteem, self-value. So when Algol is there, the rejection of my own value, I am ugly, my body is decrepit, I can be fortunate to even be remotely considered. Because I need to give, I need to offer value, and then I can receive. But what am I receiving? How much is enough? No, we don't need enough, right? We just need to survive. So it's about the bare minimum. But Algol shows you that the bare minimum, even that you're not going to get. Because you're settling. So what do? You try to make boundaries. You have a voice, so you are being angry. You are being entitled. You're demanding. Oh, who do you think you are to demand these things from me? You're so selfish. Take care of your own needs, right? So constantly there is this blaming and shaming game going on, and it seems like everybody around you is playing into it. So you talk to your friends, so-called friends. You talk to your so-called family, and you tell them, hey, can you look at this? This guy, this gal, he's mistreating me, neglecting me. I don't feel happy. How do I take care of myself? And they tell you either to leave, or they tell you that you should be more independent. So of course we have a whole, you could say, like a world health crisis of loads of people who learned that being independent is the only way to survive. Just take care of yourself, because nobody is ever going to consider you. So we have a massive fear of abandonment, because we are being abandoned every single day, constantly. There's no loyalty, I mean barely, when you can get it as like needle in a haystack. When somebody is actually accepting you completely, not unconditionally, of course, like not the pathology, but they'll stay with you even when there's disagreement, not ghost you at the moment of like discomfort, or lie to you, try to manipulate you to avoid conflict. We have all of that going on. I mean, so much deception just to control you, to prevent you from abandoning them. So the funny thing is, we've been tied down in our little box, and we thought we weren't good enough. And they're trying to control us because we deserve to be mistreated. But actually, they're trying to control us because they don't feel good enough. You see, that's so funny, isn't it? Actually, it's them. Like, I have pity for them. They're so weak. They're trying to manipulate you and be fake to you, and avoid you and ghost you and neglect you and abuse you, because they feel if you have the upper hand, if they take care of your needs, they're in a lower position. You have all the power. They are so scared of your power. They're so scared that you are going to leave them, that they're not going to even invest. They're just trying to play games with you, just to always have the upper hand. Like a snake. Like, it's all about manipulation these days in relationships. Just who is going to have the upper hand. It's like a game of chess. And you will find this intellectual, psychopathic way of thinking, where it's all about transaction. It's all about the words you speak, about appearances. But when you do communicate directly, when you are being honest, the other person is so confused, they don't know how to deal with it. So they're going to try to avoid you, and they ghost you, they get scared, they are intimidated by you. And because they're intimidated by you, and they fear your division, meaning your individuality, they will tell you you're being difficult, you're being angry, you're being imbalanced masculine, be more feminine. Because they want you to be Eve. They want you to be this shadowy figure, like Echo, just always agreeing to everything and not making any boundaries. Because if you make boundaries, you're angry, you're selfish, you're... because they're triggered. And all of these problems, how are they fixed? They are fixed the moment that you're no longer falling for it. You're no longer making yourself responsible for other people's reactions towards you, and you become independent for real, like actually independent, not just talking about it. You're independent when you are yourself while you are with them until they leave. And if you want to leave them, you do it because they were never compatible to begin with. They're not your friends. You don't need to waste your time with them, because with Pluto in retrograde in Aquarius, once again, it's cleaning up our friendships. It's cleaning up the community. Whatever group you belong to, whatever cult, whatever environment, community, it's going to be restructuring. And with Pluto, it will remain in retrograde in Aquarius until the end of the year, until it goes back into Capricorn, and then it goes into Aquarius again. So there's going to be many opportunities for you to balance the scales in your relationships, where you're no longer giving, while they take, because there's this parasite consciousness that's going around. You know, it's a kind of parasitic, symbiotic bond that somebody forms with another person when they hide parts of themselves in order to get certain outcomes, certain reactions. There's something very parasitic about it, because it's about maximizing, getting as much as possible from you, while giving as little information about themselves away to you, giving as little power to you as possible. And often this is created because people have been abused by somebody who is constantly trying to control them. So they become obsessed with control because they never had any control. So because relying on somebody else, giving power to somebody else, that just never worked for them. So it's like they've been programmed to be the abuser, to be Adam, to the Eve. So this Adam-Eve mythology is happening every single day. It's never stopped. And Lilith, Algol, that's when it stops. That's when we're finally standing up. We're not like we've been doing this for so many years, so many thousands of years. This is old news. Like, really? Are we really still doing this? So you got to laugh about it. You got to feel ridiculous about what's going on, because it's so obvious. Demons always move in patterns. The patterns are there. You can see exactly why people behave the way they do, because it's all fear-based. It's paranoia. Oh, if I give you power, you're gonna abandon me, so I'm not going to give you any chance. Not going to give you the truth. The conformity you see around you, when everybody takes the side of the abuser and the bully, is because the bully is the majority. The majority of people are about pushing things under a rug, keeping the peace, which is rotting like a vitico, flesh-eating spirit, is rotting the flesh of people from the inside, causing eczema, inflammation, constipation, tumors, cancer. People are getting eaten alive from the inside by this parasitic consciousness, which is so desperate in trying to control the environment by constantly putting up a facade, a mimic, by mirroring the environment. This is why Algol is about mirrors. When you show the abuser their mirror, when you show the abuser who they are and what they are doing, how does the abuser react? You think I'm a monster? So then the abuser says, you are the monster. And then the abuser shows a mirror to you, and then you look, and if you are in that shadow of Eve, and you've been living as Eve for relationship after relationship after relationship, Growing up in that environment in your family in which you always have to hide your aggression, you can't get any problem solved, the people around you don't care about your needs. Then the moment the mirror is shown to you, you think you are the problem. And this is when Medusa, once Perseus comes with a mirror, is beheaded. She loses her autonomy. She loses her power, her individuality, her identity, until she has nothing left except her rotting corpse as being a snake on the ground, because that's what happens when you say no to the abuser, when your sense of identity is so weak, has been abused so many times, that you don't know how to self-validate, that you don't know your worth. But what happens in the mythology, once Medusa gets decapitated, from her rotting corpse emerges Pegasus, a white-winged horse, an angelic kind of creature, that then helps the masculine figure to take her head with him and defeat other monsters and go on a hunt, riding Pegasus through the heavens. So it's a demon hunter. But before we go on the demon hunter's journey and hunt those bullies down, we first have to go through an ego death of our own. We have to look at our own mirror, what we've been doing to ourselves, hiding in a cave, self-isolating, because we believe we are not good enough. That is exactly what Medusa Algol is about. That's what she did, didn't she? She got raped by Poseidon, Neptune. The god of illusion told her that she's not good enough, that she's to be defiled, that she's just his property. So then Athena told her to leave the temple, that she has to leave, and then she turned her into a monster because she needed to give her weapons. So Medusa could never be defiled again. She got the snake hair, so that every abuser that looked at her to give her the evil eye would be turned into stone, to be intimidated by her presence alone. But Medusa, when she saw that everybody was scared of her, that would turn to stone from fear, she made it about herself. She thought there was something wrong with her. Oh, they're all scared of me. I can't be out here anymore, so I need to self-isolate. Nobody likes me, so I need to go into my box and hide the feminine away. That's when this hero came and finally put her out of her misery, beheaded her, because she was in her ego. She was completely ruled by the devil, ruled by the demons of the past. She got all the weapons, all the power that she needed, and instead of using it, she hid herself away. And she saw herself as the monster, which is why she died. But of course, this whole transformation process, this is exactly what Algol shows us right now, because the freeze response, this is when you are petrified by fear, that's the only problem. Because that freeze response is founded on an illusion. The illusion is trauma, which means Traum in German, which is Neptune, which is where we need to heal. This is why actually Algol has the nature of Neptune. And I found this because I've worked with many Algol clients, and there's often a lot of dissociation. A lot of, I don't even remember what happened. I don't even remember that I was raped. I have no idea. It just happened. Like, what's the big deal? Like everything just happens to you. You don't even resist it. You're just standing there, being reactive, not taking the initiative. You're just frozen in a box. So in that freeze response, we need to get out of that freezers, wants to rise from it. So that's why they say, oh, Algol is such an evil star. You get beheaded when you have it in this position, or some kind of nonsense. Of course, the beheading happens because the person is already beheaded. The head is not connected to the heart because the heart is frozen, the heart is in lockdown. Because there's no self-esteem, there's no self-love. I have no autonomy. I have no individuality. I have no will. I have no power. So I need to control other people, or I need to give the abuser what they want, give the power away. So there's often these control dynamics. You can really look at it like the process from starting as Eve. Whoever has Algol in the chart, they start out as Eve, and they become Lilith through the process, or at least they are forced to become Lilith. Unfortunately, most people don't. Most people just sit on their ass, just like going through their entire life being in a box. Because of course it's a person's free will whether they want to actually change or stay stuck. And that's another thing with Taurus. It's a very fixed sign. It's a very fixed energy. Either you are actively pursuing change every single day, either you choose life or you choose entropy. You choose being static, rigid, choosing to conform, to keep the hive mind happy. Because it's all about the hive mind. It's all about other people, making them happy. And when you say, oh, I need my individuality, I need my freedom, because you have no freedom. So being controlled by other people's perception of you. But essentially, it locks your body down. It creates this shell around you like an armor. This is exactly what attracts narcissists, psychopaths, avoidant attachment style people. People who can't deal with reality. Where there's so much shame, they can't process guilt. It's like a disorder of the conscience. Where there's no morality, no ethics, no justice. It's just about being nice, being sweet. Sweet, nice little girl, or something, Eve, Echo, to just give the pampered, entitled abuser all the space they need. So they can feel safe while you're walking on eggshells constantly. Because if you stand up, all these negative things start to happen. And that's why we call Algol, the demons, that's so malefic. It's the most malefic of the objects. So bad, right? So bad. Such bad things happen when the divine feminine starts to stand up and make boundaries. Everybody's trying to attack her, to ridicule her. Who do you think you are? You think you can have no opinion? You want to always be right because you disagree. And of course, you're not allowed to disagree. So if you do disagree with the abuser, you always want to be right. You're so stubborn, right? Taurus stubborn. There's nothing stubborn about it when you make a boundary. But of course, you're not allowed to make a boundary. So you're stubborn. You're not allowed to love, to show your love, because it makes you a slut. You're not allowed to be nice, because when you're being manipulative. You're not allowed to make boundaries, because when you're angry. You're not allowed to disagree, because when you're being rude and you're being selfish. You're not allowed to address your needs, because when you're being needy. You're not allowed to attach to your partner when you're being clingy. You're not allowed to have a voice, because when you're being demanding and entitled. So in the twisted, sick mind of the abuser, everything is upside down. No matter what you do, everything is wrong. So you believe you are wrong. you believe you are the problem. Because clearly, reality is showing you whatever you do, there's going to be a negative reaction. If all we see is being abused, what are we to think? Because they say reality is our mirror, right? Whatever happens to you, it's about you. But it's so twisted. Because the problem is, it is true, it is about you. It's about you saying no. It's about you being independent for real and just making boundaries. And the negative reactions keep happening. And when actually people die, people are prosecuted, people are vilified, thrown out of the village, hunted by pitchforks, all kinds of terrible things happen throughout all of human history. Yeah, we can look back, all those people who started to fight against the control system, they didn't get the beneficial outcomes that we all want. Because there's too much disease, there's too much sickness all around us. So being in the truth, standing up, being healthy, then you get negative consequences. So they call it a malefic star. They call it an evil star. It's evil to be good. It's bad to be yourself. And what do? We self-isolate. We say, okay, I'm not having this anymore. I refuse to play along. So we try to become more self-sufficient. And that's essentially what it's about. Because if you can be self-sufficient, if you don't need anybody, then the pressure to conform is not even going to be there. The pressure to conform is only about survival. If you can get your needs met yourself, nobody can control you. But because you're human, you do have needs that rely on a relationship or many relationships. And then you just need to get the people that can get your needs met. This is how you take charge, because you get the person to give you what you want. Not, oh, I'm reacting, I'm just waiting that someday, hopefully, somebody will be safe enough to commit to, who's perfect enough to give me everything, because I'm a victim. And I'm not worth anything. I cannot give them enough to feel safe about being good enough, so I just self-isolate. Once you get actually a partner, and you get what you want from them, and you already have everything else going on, there's no need to be in a box. Because essentially, Taurus is only about our needs. It's very materialistic. So what you see around you, with people trying to guilt trip you for being an individual and having your own opinion, these are just people who have devoted their life to worshipping the devil. They've sold their soul for materialistic reasons only. They learned that you get your needs met never alone, only by conforming to a consensus, to the hive mind. But they're not even aware of this. They don't even know that this is going on. So if you try to reason with them, they're confused. Because while their subconscious wants to conform to the hive mind, their conscious mind isn't even thinking about that. So you can't appeal to their logic, because it's not logical. It's just a subconscious survival pattern, survival mechanism that you're dealing with. How do you fight that? How do you make somebody aware that they're in survival mode when they have no idea and they're not thinking about that and they're not trying to be, they don't want to be, but still they are. Don't even try. That's what I say. Just focus on yourself. Are you in survival mode? Yes or no? Because even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just for a short time of the day, that's where we have to work on. Because whenever we are in survival mode, we are dependent on the external for validation, for acceptance, to somehow provide for us. Whether it's our job, or friends, the community, online. I mean, if you have your business like me, even I have to work with that, because I know that if I put people in their place and I give them boundaries and I disagree with them because I'm not agreeing, so why should I agree with when I don't agree? Like, what? So if I disagree because I disagree, I risk losing those clients, so I lose money. And then I have to be like, okay, so can I afford losing that money? Because if I can't, then I'm dependent to conform. And that just is, you can't allow that to happen. That's just unacceptable. Because that's a pathology. That's the root of evil. You see, that is the devil right there. The devil tells you, pay your soul to me, pay homage to me, agree with me, and then I pay you. Make your videos in a way that is digestible for me, have compassion for me, and then I pay you. The devil is in control of you through other people. Actually, not through other people, through your dependence on other people. So this is why online, people are always putting on facades. They're trying to sell you something in their videos, or these online businesses. Oh, they are so nice, so polite, so compassionate, all these coaches, all these gurus. Because they are worshipping the devil. They are worshipping you liking them, you following them, you agreeing with them, so you pay them. So that is a demonic, parasitic, symbiotic trauma bond. And of course, trauma bond isn't just you with a narcissist. That's you with Facebook, trying to get likes, by thinking, how should I rephrase my controversial opinion so that less people feel offended by me, so I can get their approval, aka their money, aka their likes, to boost my algorithm. That's a trauma bond right there. So then there's somebody like me, Lilith in person. Welcome to this shit show, in which we are highlighting the fact that the moment that you are standing in your power, all these complaints, all these, you are in your masculine, you're a bully, you're angry, you're so selfish, you're so cold, I don't like you. There was one comment who called me recently Palpatine. You're my Palpatine. I was like, I don't disagree. Palpatine. So Lilith is Palpatine, a Sith Lord. And the Sith, they're not worshipping the peace. They're not worshipping the devil. To worship peace is to worship the devil. Peace means agreement. Agreement means conformity. Conformity means selling your soul. Conflict means liberation. Liberation means power. Power means independence. Independence means individuality. Divided. Not unity consciousness, separation consciousness. And when they call you a narcissist, right? They call you evil. Because the feminine is standing up. Because you're not agreeing to the shit show. You're not in a box. So they want to drag you on your knees, come back to the box, when everybody takes the bully side, because that's the norm. That's what everybody's doing. It's a hive mind. It's like, oh, I guess they are NPCs. Are they really NPCs? Or are they just deciding, choosing to worship the devil? Because the devil pays you. The devil is Capricorn in astrology. Capricorn is the control system, the structure, the stability that we're looking for, which is the group consciousness. 10th house, 11th house in astrology, the networking. And now we're entering the age of Aquarius. You're thinking things are going to get better in the age of conformity and networking. Oh, you think it's about rebellion. Well, maybe. Depending how you look at it, depending what planets are there. But Aquarius rules the 11th house. Aquarius rules the hive mind. And we've just come out of the age of Pisces. Pisces is compassion, victim consciousness. Because you need to have compassion for the victim, right? The victim which turns an abuser, and then cries out the moment he's being called out. And when he calls you the abuser, because everybody has compassion for the victim. But when the feminine stands up, she's not a victim. Lilith is not a victim. Lilith is powerful. And who wants to have compassion for the powerful? Oh, they have all the money. They have authority. So authority, power, money, abundance, self-sufficiency, that's associated with evil in this upside-down clown world. So everything that's good, self-love, self-esteem, is arrogant. Everything that's abundant, money, prosperity, luxury, that's greedy, right? You're so greedy, you're so selfish. Oh, you are a healer? You charge for your services? You have all that money and you're still charging? Or if you look good, like if you feel good about your body, oh, you are a slut, right? You're a prostitute because you feel good about your body. Or if you have an opinion and your opinion is based on facts, so it's grounded, it's stable, you are stubborn. You are close-minded. Taurus, the divine feminine principle, the lover archetype, the pleasure principle, is the most heavily armored principle of man. The most hijacked, the most suppressed, the most controlled. And we are really surprised. If you look into Wilhelm Reich, the armoring therapy, Wilhelm Reich calls about the ergonomic functionalism, the pleasure principle in his books, which he describes in great detail how this divine feminine has been hijacked, how it's been hijacked for thousands of years, and how you can see it in people's behaviors. He has analyzed and observed how you can detect the mental illness in the people around you. So I really recommend that you check out his books, because I found it very enlightening. Because in man's search for a good ass, he is the problem. Because that is what he wants, that he's following his nature, so he's a prostitute. So everything that's human, everything that's nature, the world itself, Mother Earth, our own mother, is a prostitute, is a demon, is a witch, is a succubus, right? Even looks like it. So, upside down clown world. So what do you become then? How do you respond? Well, you don't respond, you react by becoming a robot. Stiff. Instead of being autonomous, you become automatic, predictable in your behavior, always reacting, always mirroring other people. Like the computer program is taking over, that human AI that says, how can I strategize and manipulate the situation so I can get as much approval as possible? And if I'm not getting approval, let's be in competition. Let's just beat other people so I have more power over them, so I have an upper hand. Because I can't afford to have a lower value, because the only value that exists is material. What they want, what they need. Value isn't about what I need, right? In the upside down clown world, value isn't about what I want. Value is about their wants, their needs. So this codependent trauma bond is where our Venus, our feminine, is so twisted that it's all about other people. So this is why Venus in astrology represents relationships, how we relate, our transactions. And when they say it's exalted in Libra, exalted in Libra, really? Where it's equal give and take? Is it wrong? Is it really equal when you have Venus in Libra? Or are you just constantly giving, thinking that as long as you're perceived like a machine, as a giver, then you will be given? But if Venus is in Taurus, as she is right now, that's the domicile, where you're not thinking about what do they need, you're thinking about what do you need. And when that's all that you're thinking about, that's what you're going to get. Because if you know your own needs, you know that your needs are basically what everybody else needs. So then you can get them what they need if it's genuine. But if you're not even aware of it, if you're not even thinking about it, not even focused on that, then you're just a human AI. Then you're just in your imagination, in your head, where it's all about expectations, where it's all about appearances. Because that's the only thing you can control. Because guess what you can't control? Is the feminine. Is the mother. When she's crying out from within, telling you, here is what I need, I'm feeling neglected, they're not giving it to me, I'm starving, help me. And you say, shut the fuck up, put you in a box. Self-isolate. Don't have a voice. Voice, Taurus, right? That's why it's in Taurus. Algol. Because that's exactly where the feminine is suppressed. It's not even being allowed to communicate. This is why in ancient times, not even ancient, like 400 years ago, women were not even allowed to write or read. So communication has been blocked for thousands of years. We're just slowly, are we even coming out of it? Well, if you're watching this video, you certainly are. But the people around you, are they coming out of it? I don't think so. I don't think so. So what is your relationship with your Venus? With your body, your self-esteem, your voice, your values? Are you enforcing justice? That's what Venus represents, justice. Or are you just looking for transactions, just looking for a good deal, where it's all about, as long as my appearances are good, then I will be taken care of. This codependent need. This is actually what's needy. You know, avoidance and narcissists are the most needy people in existence. And they always tell you how needy you are. But they're so needy. They need you to think they're good people. That's why they ghost you, so they don't have to be in a conflict situation. So there's not even any room for you to think that they are bad. They need you so desperately to see them always in a good light. They need you so desperately to see them as somebody who's very kind, very giving, very loving, very self-controlled, very disciplined. But the moment they are not disciplined and they are not loving, the moment they are human and their own femininity is crying out for help, they ghost you. Or they abuse you and they become this bully and they try to control you. In either case, they always try to control you. Because they're trying to control themselves, but they can't. You can't control the mother. Can't control her. Right here, right? You can't control her. So, what do? You try to control them. At least that's something I can control. If I can just shut you down, shame you, blame you, manipulate you, you will take care of me. Because me? I'm not going to be controlled by this. But controlling you? Yeah, sure. That is much easier, right? Because there's less shame around that. Less shame around being evil. And that is when you know evil wins. When the person is less scared of loving you, less scared of controlling you than they are of loving you. When they are more scared of their own mother, their own body, than they are of, well, if you accept them and you love them, that's really what scares them. Because suddenly they start to feel things and they notice, oh, I can't control this. Ooh, this is weird. Let's create distance. Let's control you so you don't make me feel things. So I can be in my box, can be a robot. Forever frozen, rigid, stiff. In the hive mind, the Borg cube. If you don't know what the Borg cube is, my goodness, how do people not watch Star Trek? Look it up online. You will understand exactly what I mean. So in any case, that's really what this conjunction is about. That's all I really wanted to talk about, because I thought it would be fun to talk about Algol. If you want to know more about Algol, I recommend you watch my other videos. I actually made Algol videos before. And if you're interested in booking a personal natal chart reading with me, if you'd like to know more about my services, you can read my services in the description down below. Find them on my business page on Facebook, the photo albums services section. And if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next video.